This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
And a new season.
24/7 Buff Vandemonium isn't just a page.
It's a family.
A passionate group of positive Buffalo football fans
who embrace the character and fight of this team.
We strive to embody this passion
and present a fan-first perspective
without all the fluff.
Enter
the K-Gun Report.
Season 2.
The first season was exciting for 24/7 Buff Vandemonium.
Talking football, connecting with fans, and having quality conversation.
This season, we're stepping it up, and we want you all to come be a part of the conversation.
On March 9th, 2021,
the K-Gun Report
is back.
Let's go, Buffalo!
This is a dangerous group that were This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 24/7 Buff Vandemonium presents the K-Gun Report, Season 2, Episode 14. Yes, I said it. We're already on Episode 14. How you guys feeling about that?
Damn, Jarrod.
Cruising right along.
All right, yeah, I'm Jarrod. Tonight we got joining me. We have Swank.
Yo!
Scott.
Hey.
And I often fail to say these guys' name, but the Vandemonium is joining us tonight too, guys. Welcome to the K-Gun Report.
Mm-hmm. Welcome.
All right, first and foremost, I want to start right out and say happy birthday to Kim Pagula. I think she's 26 years young again. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Also, we're going to recap on this today, on this show today, is the Week 3 2020 season matchup against the Rams. It was a win, 35-32, but the Rams gave us a scare, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. We do have 24/7 Buff Vandemonium shirts still available, the black and whites, which is Scott's wearing right there. And good news, the Notorious Dig shirts the order has been placed. So if you ordered, we'll keep you posted when those come in, and then we'll get them out to you as soon as possible. If you haven't ordered, Venmo is on the tracker below, but it's $25 for shipping, and $5 goes to the American Heart Association. And we're getting a lot of them in, so don't be afraid to order. We're going to be wearing ours soon, hopefully, and we might have one for a giveaway in the near future.
Oh, tell them what your Venmo is, Scotty.
It is Scott at Scott 24/7 Buff Vandemonium. That easy.
And I got them today. 24/7 Buff Vandemonium stickers. All you need to do is personal message us your address, and we'll send those out to you for free.
For free. My favorite four-letter F word.
Wow.
Are you sure? All right, let's go. Buffalo Bills, they face don't want to forget, Vandemonium. We're going to talk about the game and then whatever you guys want to talk about today. So let's get this show going. All right, the Buffalo Bills face the Rams in Week 3. Again, I said 35-32 was the final score. Swank.
Yeah.
What do you think about that game after watching it 6 months later?
Man.
It's more like 10 months later.
There's a lot of good stuff. I feel like every week there's been like you get to see like who arrived, right? So like the first week I was like Josh Allen arrived. Second week Diggs arrived. Third week, man, I'm say our rookie wide receiver Gabe Davis arrived, man. He had some great catches. You could tell he was getting comfortable. You could tell Josh was getting comfortable with finding him. So offensive playmaker of the game for me, man. I was super impressed with Gabe Davis, and I remember thinking during that game, like, man, Bean got it right again. You know what I mean? Like, he can just pick them. So that was awesome. But like, none of that matters because that whole game got overshadowed by that goddamn interception that was not an interception that everybody just got brainwashed into thinking was an interception. But I'm still way mad about it, dude. Like, there is no way in hell that was an interception. He had two hands. He brought it to his chest. He fell, and the guy came down and clamped him and then ripped it out of his hands after they were both down. Like, he was touched. He had caught the ball. They were down.
Ty
And
goes to the receiver.
Ty goes to the receiver, but the guy didn't even like start ripping it out of him before his knee was down. They had control. It was like in no scenario, no alternate universe, nothing. There's no way that is an interception. And the way that like people just like casually are like, oh, like non-Bills fans I'm talking about. Don't worry, guys. I'm not talking about us and you. I'm saying the rest of the NFL world was just like, oh yeah, it's an interception.
Yeah, hold on.
What,
It's a Bills interception.
Yep.
And that is the worst part. But the absolute worst part was like the pass interference at the end of the game when everybody was like, well, that was what a garbage call, man. Like, it determined the outcome of the game. Like, it was pass interference if you ask me. I don't care if you're a tit for tat kind of guy or like, oh, let him play it out, blah blah. Bullshit, dude. Like, how many times have we gotten called? By rule, it was pass interference.
He was 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. Ball was in the air. He had his hands on him. That's pass interference.
And when he turned to the ball, it was in the air, and he was like just letting go of him. And maybe it was close. Fine, it was pass interference.
It was definitely close. Yeah.
Yeah, but how many times have we gotten? We're on the other end of that call.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
30 years. You know, like 30 years.
I hate, Josh Allen, obviously we've seen grow in these last 3 years. And I knew we were going to be talking about this particular play, both particular plays, actually. The fact, number one, the ball was in the air when there was still contact on the receiver. So that's automatically a flag. But great quarterbacks know to utilize that. Tom Brady did it a lot.
All the time.
Like, if it's quick pressure, they're playing bump somewhere, throw it to that direction, and you're going to get that call.
Yeah.
And I say great quarterbacks do that because we have one in the making here with Josh Allen. And then going back to that interception, that's Swank. You nailed every part of that. That's truthful. He caught the ball, hit the ground. He had possession, and that should have been the end of the story. It still would have been a pass interference call against us, apparently, but it wouldn't have been a turnover.
He had a push off. So okay, so they could either they would have accepted it, and it would have been a replay down. Yep. Okay, fine. Or there wasn't whatever. If they declined it, then we would have had a first down. Like it would have been it should have been a completed pass. But instead,
the series of events that happened after that interception. Now keep in mind the Rams just scored, so we're 2 plays later in our offensive drive, and there's the interception, and 2 plays after that Woods scores. So they scored 2 touchdowns within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that was a momentum change. That's when the sack started coming for Donald. That's when Allen fumbled twice. Mm-hmm. Everything was not going our way. And, that first quarter, that first half was like, oh, my God, with what the Bills did against the Jets and then what they did against Miami, now look what they're doing against the 2-0 Rams. It was definitely high and lows during this game. But, tit for tat, that interception that was not an interception and that push-off, that push-off led to a touchdown. That interception led to 2 scores, if not 3. So you can weigh it out however you want. Should have never come to it.
No. And like I said, just the arrogance to me of like saying that like, oh man, like that PI call was like, oh, that shouldn't have been called. It wasn't pass interference. It wasn't this, and like all that stuff, and like it dictating the outcome of the game, dude. An interception that is not an interception is just so much more of a momentum swing. Get out of here. Like I don't know.
After you just scored.
Because the players know it's not. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's like, oh great, now we have to fight an uphill battle against this good team because the Rams are a good team.
Yeah.
And the refs now, they're giving that a pick interception.
Well, and how can you trust anything the refs do or say anymore? To me, like they come back, a year or 2 years, 2 seasons later now, and say that block in the back or whatever by Cody Ford wasn't a block in the back, and like now they got it right finally. Like, great. Thanks a lot. Like,
are they gonna take a fine away? I mean.
Oh, are they gonna build a time machine big enough to put that whole team in it so that maybe we can make a little playoff run there? Like, I don't know, dude. I don't even want to know if they mess up. Like, if it's gonna be the way it's gonna be, then just do it. You know. And that's the way they do it with the New England all the time, right? Like, well, they did while Brady was there. Like, he just gets calls. Like, that's what it is. And then people get to bitch about how much he gets calls and like whatever. Like, I don't know. I just, if it's either do it one way or the other. Like the XFL had a great system. I don't know if you guys watched any of those games when they were on, but it was like anything was challengeable. It went up. You got to see the guy. He was mic'd up talking it out with another guy, and they're reviewing the tape. They're saying, okay, here and here and here. Yup, yup. And it was like pretty quick. Those two dudes hashed it out. And it was all on camera, so there was no like, well, I don't know, man.
Yeah, no hiding stuff.
Yeah, it's just like, if you don't know, you don't know, or whatever. And then if that's what the case is, then it's the call on the field. Fine. Like, they should completely institute that into the regular.
Yeah,
I mean,
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, man.
Because, you know what else that does? It gets the fans who maybe don't know the rules to understand it right there. So they can't call that, oh, it wasn't pass interference. Wait, they just talked it out. I guess it is. Rule number 15. A2, B1 Kenobi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's
And you know what it would said? What would have been said with that pass interference? They would explain it just like this. Yeah, was he past 5 yards of line of scrimmage? Yes, he was. Did he have his hands on the wide receiver? Yes, he did. Was the ball in the air? Yep. You got to call the pass interference.
Yeah. That's it.
And I'm not a ref.
That interception that interception had to be reviewed. So
it was.
They completely like whatever. But maybe if you were under like that pressure that, you know, the whole nation can see you right now. And you can't just.
And you're playing the Rams. You're playing a high.
Make that call.
Yep.
All right.
You know who was impressive? You know who was impressive that I would love to see more of this, and I'm hoping to? Singletary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had 13 carries, 71 yards, had a bunch of catches for a bunch of yards, looked elusive, broke tackles, looked fast. He looked.
What did he have last week? Last week?
As far as stats?
10 for 56. So 2 games there.
Oh,
he had 10 for 56,
the prior week.
And then what he had,
about,
week 2. So he's putting 2 games, not getting 15, 20, 25 carries. He's putting 2 very good games in a row together. And he's lowering his shoulder, people.
Yeah, and it's 13 carries for 71 yards. 3 of those were at the goal line. So you can give that 10 carries for 71 yards at 7.1 yard on average. That's a hell of a running back.
Yeah. Well, and he drags piles and moves piles in last year's body. This year, he's a little truck, man. So I can't wait to see him. Yeah. I think he's here to prove something. So let's see what happens.
I have written right here, Singletary, I need to apologize to you. I had Moss yanking that starting position away from you. Singletary's going to give him one hell of a fight. And, you know, I'm glad I'm thinking differently. You know what I mean? Go get it, Singletary. Moss, if you become number 1, obviously I'm going to love that. But Singletary, if you fight for that and get that, that's just going to make that backfield just crazy good. Crazy good. Bam. All right, let's get to the Fandemonium really quick. We got our usuals are back. Mike, Brent, Lisa's back. Joey Hatch, nice to have you here. Brent Thomason got his helmet. He won the Andre Reed helmet during the draft.
Hell yeah.
Got that. What up, Gun Report from Joey Hatch. Irene Bessie, I'll be there in spirit. There you go. She's here.
Kathy Bement and Daniel Crimbring, welcome.
What's up, guys?
John's back from vacation.
Yeah, welcome back, John. So, Jarrod, who mentioned you guys hear about the Epinesa Feliciano fight today?
Joey Hatch had something about that in the comments, too.
What's everybody think about the fighting?
I love it.
I love it.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
You know what I'm seeing out of it is rumor has it Epinesa, you know how he lost all that weight, he slimmed down? He's actually been in the gym and he gained some of that back and muscle rather than any of the flabby stuff. Not that he was flabby. But if this guy's getting a little spunk, a little attitude to go against Feliciano, because we already know Feliciano has it. And if they're going back and forth, AJ Epinesa may be turning into someone that has got a little spunk in him, and that's going to be fun to watch.
Well, like we were saying before the show, Scott and I were talking, and Josh Allen is a top-tier quarterback, right? He proved that last year. He's been progressing every year. So I don't think that he's declining and, you know, threw an interception to a defensive end. Obviously, Epinesa's up in his game and getting in there a little bit better. So, like, picking off Josh Allen, Feliciano, getting in his face, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think that just shows that this dude is elevating not only the physical part of things, the mental part of things, and his hand-eye, like my boy Dawson Knox.
Yep.
Yeah,
Dawson
that's
Knox,
awesome.
he's seeing an eye specialist working on his hand-eye coordination. I just saw a quote from him saying he's not going to drop any touchdown passes.
E-M.
Not the top line. Bottom line. So here's the thing, guys.
Wait, Jarrod, I just want to explain real quick, just so the people that didn't hear what happened.
Yep.
It was a practice. Josh Allen, they actually were throwing a screen pass, and AJ Epinesa backed away. He saw the screen happening, read it well, actually perfectly, intercepted Josh Allen, and took it for a touchdown. So that's what caused this whole argument and this little scuffle. So when Swank says he's getting smarter, to be able to snuff out a screen, pick it off, and take it for 6, that's game day. That's stuff that J.J. Watt does. I'm not saying he's J.J. Watt, but that's the type of plays that he can that I'm hoping to see Epinesa do in the season. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I lost it.
And since we're talking about AJ Epinesa, if we want to go back to that Rams game, I am glad Trent Murphy is now no longer a Buffalo Bill.
Epinesa got his first sack that game.
He did. But Trent Murphy, you saw Henderson had 20 rushes for 114 yards, and 90% of those rushes went right towards Trent Murphy. And he was tailing, he was chasing them from behind. He couldn't close a gap. I was a fan of Trent Murphy, but watching that game, I'm kind of glad that the Bills went young in their draft, and Epinesa, Basham, and Russo are going to have their chance.
I've been reading a lot of stuff lately that is saying Basham is like that
crazy good,
watch out for him kind of player, that he's going to make like an immediate impact and whatever, which is something that we've been saying. Yeah.
I heard his hands are fast and strong.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Good.
That's what I was going to – thank you, Scott, for saying that. I remember what I was going to say now. Unless you want to finish your thought, Swank.
No, go ahead.
Okay, here we go. So you write it down so you don't forget like me. The eye therapist. I know a lot of the Fandemonium Mafia might know this already, but you got a lot of muscles in those eyes. When you practice and you go to the OTAs and you're doing constant lineman drills or catching drills, a lot of that has to do with muscle memory. We all know that. Now the eyes are a muscle. So he's going to a therapist that's training his eyes to see better peripheral, to be able to move, to adjust, and it's a great thing. He's taking the steps that hopefully improve his catch percentage. And that's all I have to say about that. I remembered.
I lost it.
Running a pattern and snapping around real quick and trying to focus on that ball, catch the ball is very hard.
Yeah.
Very hard. And so, to train the eyes to focus quick or to find the ball quick, that just shows the Bills what they're doing. We saw what Singletary's doing in the weight room and working with Dalvin Cook and working on his speed. We see what Dawson's doing with going to see an eye specialist to make them. They're all taking the right steps to be a better team, and little at a time.
Absolutely. Can we get on the topic here of Feliciano's reaction to that fight, though? We're all talking about how Epinesa is getting good. Why is Feliciano chasing him down and getting in his face when he scores that touchdown? I think that's just proving, again, to Allen, no matter who's ringing you up, chasing you down, that I always got your back. So I think that's good part on both ends of the ball there. But it's exciting to see that little fire, even this early in camp. It's good to see the fire that these guys have. Just shows the passion that they have. And when you become a competitor in the NFL, you're at the highest level. And if you're competing at practice, can you imagine what that's going to look like on the field?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Damn, boys.
I think Mongo's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder from the way that championship game went, right? Where he got sucker punched and nothing ever came out of it. And, it kind of deflated that whole balloon, you know? And he was known as, a kind of a bruiser, stick up for my guy kind of guy. And that happened. And I don't know, man. I really like John Feliciano. I like his energy. I like his attitude. So I hope that he uses that and he comes back, and maybe this is the beginning of that. Like you're saying, I don't care who you are. Don't. So.
Yeah, you bet your ass you're not going to be able to punch me in the face again and get away with it kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can replay those. If there's a personal foul and someone's getting ejected, I think you can replay those plays now. So you can
catch
catch
a new
it.
thing for this year?
Yeah, I think it was implemented last year, wasn't it?
Then they should have.
Yeah,
Because
if there was,
that dude should have got ejected right after that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we have Brent is saying that read today that we have another check down EJ Manuel type quarterback with Mitch Trubisky. He might be just learning the game still, so let's give him a little bit of a chance. Also, Brent said that. Oh, where'd I read it? I lost it.
Well, Trubisky knows the game. He's
Fromm
learning the
looked
Bills
good.
offense.
Fromm looks good, so that's what we're hoping.
I can't wait to watch Fromm and Trubisky in preseason.
Yeah, that'll
We're
be
gonna see a
fun.
lot of them.
That'll be fun. I don't know. Jury's out for me on Fromm, man. I'm interested to see what he's done, where he's at. I still
All right,
like
so
Davis
watch-
Webb.
Yeah. You never know. We don't get to see him because of COVID last year. We didn't get to see preseasons and all that stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see these players putting Bills uniforms on and playing in the preseason. So that's going to be fun. Going back to that Rams game quick, unless somebody else has something from the Fandemonium. There was a concern I had, and it just gives more reason why Bean picked up those linebackers during the free agency. Tremaine Edmonds struggled against the Rams. He was jumping the gun, filling the wrong holes, missing tackles. He looked confused out there. I know he just got off an injury to that shoulder, the shoulder that he had, but very concerning watching him play. And I think that's what allowed the Rams to move the ball a little bit more efficiently in the second half. But it just makes me think of how great of a job that McDermott and Bean are doing bringing people in, because they saw that even like when against the Miami game, they saw that the backup linebackers that came in struggled. Even with Milano and Edmonds back, they still weren't 100%, and it showed because the Rams were able to move the ball easily. So I just wanted to point out on my end that Tremaine Edmonds struggled that whole game from what I saw.
I'm glad you brought that up because I saw that. I saw the Woods Cup coming across the middle. Everett had a couple nice catches for the Rams. It was the middle of the field. Edmonds was backpedaling a bunch of times, couldn't catch up to that deep slant or the deep cross route, and Taron Johnson had a hard time covering. Taron Johnson had a hell of a game tackling, 10 tackles, 2 for loss, but yeah, they struggled. And Woods and Cup are no joke.
Yeah.
And throwing Reynolds and Jarrod Everett as a tight end that offense is a pretty good offense still that they played
absolutely.
against. But you saw them struggle against those the mid routes, the middle of the inside the numbers, definitely. Tremaine Edmonds look out of place.
Yeah, and like you guys are saying, I mean, I think a lot of that's due to injury. I know that maybe not hitting your gap the way you're supposed to. You could make a case that, he's not in the playbook or he's confused out there, looks lost. But I got to think, like, if you're that hurt and you're still trying to play through, instead of like automatically going where you're supposed to go, you're thinking about it for that little half a tick. Like, well, am I going to go this way? Which I got to lean this shoulder into him. So how do you know what I mean? So, and then by then, the guy might already have his first cut in, and you don't know where he's going. And I'm not trying to make a bunch of excuses.
No, but you're right. We're always told if you're injured and you're second guessing things, you're a step behind automatically. And so
You're late.
Yep. No, your reaction time is later. You're more cautious, and that's when the game starts getting away from you for sure.
All right, I'm going to get right to it. Julio Jones, obviously, taken by the Tennessee Titans, correct? Atlanta got some nice draft picks out of that, which still leaves one guy available. And I mentioned this guy because against the Rams, the tight ends had a huge game. Croft had 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
And then Lee Smith, he had 1. And then that pass or that interception that was actually to Croft too. So the tight ends did play a huge part in that game. That being said, Zach Ertz is available. Are we getting him? I know we said this last week, but you guys still want him?
We talked about last week. I mean, the longer it goes on where we're not hearing anything, it's better news for anybody that wants Ertz.
Yeah.
That means there's not a deal being made for the Eagles. We already know that the dead space that Ertz would cost them is now going to be spaced out over a couple of years instead of the hit this year. So it should say a lot about Ertz that people aren't willing to spend the money or even making offers. So I think the longer he holds out, or the longer teams hold out from going after him and the Eagles making any kind of deal, the less his value will actually be. That's what I'm seeing. So if the Bills are interested, they're smart for holding out.
Yeah. I think I'm about where I was last week with it. I never thought that we were really seriously in the running for Julio Jones. And did I ever send you guys that little meme of him talking to Derrick Henry? There's like
I don't remember
it
seeing
was
it.
like Julio Jones talking to Derrick Henry.
Yep, I got it. I remember it now.
Derrick Henry is like, hey, you know how you were in the Super Bowl and you guys lost by blowing this huge lead? Like, how would you like to do that in the divisional round? That laughed so hard, dude. But anyway, like I still think it's like like Tannehill's got flashes or whatever. Like you can say like, you know, Tennessee's the best thing that's ever happened for Ryan Tannehill. It's still Ryan Tannehill, man. Like they had a really great running game last year. They had some good production out of Mr. Hollywood there, but they still faltered in the wild card round or whatever. Like I'm just not super worried about Ryan Tannehill, and I think if Julio Jones really was serious about being a contender, they're not exactly the first place that I would go. I think there's a lot of other places that probably would have utilized them a lot better. But.
I mean, on paper, it looks nice for the Titans. It really does. And you got people giving Tannehill the automatic top 5 quarterback, and they're showing all these stats that he had last year, the last couple of years. But, stats are one thing. Win-losses are another. Making it to an AFC championship game is a whole other story. But there's so many stats out there now that teams and fans and even professionals, like I'll go to PFF right here because I think all their stuff is a bunch of biased nonsense.
Bullshit.
It is. It really is. You can find stats that are better than the top 5 and have 5 of them combined and say, this is why he's so good.
Yeah.
Okay. You can pick apart each stat and make Tannehill look great. On paper, yes, that team does look really good, but they're not going to give Henry the ball 300 plus times. Yeah. That's their offense. They're not going to do that. And they lost Corey Davis. They lost Jonnu Smith. They lost Adam Humphries. So is Jones supposed to replace all 3 of those guys?
Right.
Yeah. Good point.
I don't see that happening. So I think it's one of those, and the Titans are such a heavy run team. I know the reason I'm talking about them is because we do play them this year.
Yeah, we do.
They're such a heavy run team that I don't see them going away from what they have been successful with. So,
dude, Brent Thompson, he just the point I was going to throw out there was that Cleveland on paper, right? Cleveland on paper for the last 2 years. Again, they're saying it again this year. Like, oh man, this is the year. This is blah blah blah, dude. Brent Thompson, OBJ, he looks good on paper too.
He sure does.
It's all what you do with it, you know. I don't know. Sidebar off all this, I don't think Odell is going to be worth a damn this year at all. Again, he's probably going to get hurt, and Baker's going to crash and burn, and then I'm going to just sit in my chair drinking PBR and smile.
He's got the Ocho Cinco effect. Remember, Ocho Cinco was good for a couple of years, and then he tried and tried and tried, and just couldn't. I know a lot of people are Ocho Cinco fans, or Chad Johnson. Sorry, that's what he's going by now.
Yeah.
But yeah, OBJ. He's probably gonna have 1 or 2 good games, but
no, that was a great point. Yep.
He brought up another point right before that when we were talking about Ertz, the best shot. He's favored for the Bills in front of the Colts, and I guess I never really considered that, but that would be a hell of a reunion to get Wentz and Ertz back together down in Indianapolis
under Frank Reich.
Yeah, it's an interesting
maybe something
point.
else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They have Ali Cox over there and all that stuff, but Ertz is a different story.
Mm-hmm.
To go back to the Titans real quick, they addressed the offense. They lost Desmond King and Butler, their corners. They really didn't replace them with anybody. They lost Vaccaro, their safety, so they're amping up their offense, but they're not doing anything against their defense. And if you're going to play the Bills, you better damn well score 30-plus points. Yeah. And if your defense is getting worse, you better damn well score 40 points. So I think that was a desperate move. They didn't have to give away much, but
so like you mentioned it earlier in the show today, the fact that these first 3 games showcased different players on the offense. We got Emmanuel Sanders. Remember you made that comment last week of you forget that we have Emmanuel Sanders, right? We have Gabe Davis coming up. year number 2. This offense, even like, and I hate to say it because you hate mentioning injuries, but we got a nice depth on offense, and we got a lot of weapons. So watching these first 3 games over again, you're like, oh my gosh, he had a good game. Oh my God, look, this guy's coming through. There you go. That was perfect, Scott. But if everyone can stay healthy, the additions of the players that we have now, and I'm just sticking to the offense. Emmanuel Sanders is a veteran. Zach Moss, year number 2. Singletary coming in, being pushed to be a proven running back. The wide receiver committee. Josh Allen improving year in and year out. Record-breaking season last year for Josh Allen. Gosh, man, this offense is just going to be crazy to watch.
Yeah.
And
Were you listening to Swank and I before the show?
No, remember I was taking care of everything.
Swank, did I not throw out there? They have the potential to be the greatest show on earth.
That's what I want to say. Greatest turf. What was the Rams back in the 90s?
Greatest show on turf.
Right there. Yeah. But if all cylinders start firing, man, this offense is going to be something.
I think it's all going to depend on the offensive line. Like that's really what all this is going to come down to. I think what we have to look at as a fan base too, is the defense. Like our defense has gotten better this year, and that was something that like we're not used to the way the defense played last year at the beginning of the season, and it was a COVID year and all that stuff, right? But the offense was bailing the defense out. It wasn't the other way around. We're so used to the other way around, and then the defense caught up. I think, halfway through the season, they started firing on all cylinders, and then definitely when Tremaine and Milano were playing at full steam. So with the little help that the offense got, right, like just fine tweaking, and then the defense getting like that edge support and that youth that I think they really need, man, like that literally could just be that little bit of enough to like push it right over the top, where like, yeah, you're saying, you gotta score 30 to even hang. Like you gotta expect to score 30, right? If your defense is jacked, 40. I agree with both of those statements wholeheartedly. That is so hard to do in the NFL. Like it's just so hard to do. And now that team that you had to score 30 points against to even have a shot has gotten better on both sides of the ball. I don't know, man. It's going to be a super fun, interesting year, and I think,
man, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, and I think the injury thing, almost every single one of your star wide receivers was hurt last year, and nobody really knew about it. Smoke didn't even get a shot most of the time. He was out for so long, and Bees and Diggs and Gabe at the end of the season. It's just like everybody was banged up. So hopefully, yeah, like you're saying, get a little bit more under their belt, get a little more training, a little stretches, some yoga, whatever, and everything will be good.
Well, they're training at their own facility this year. We found out today that St. John Fisher's not happening.
Yep.
Kind of bummed about it because we all know Rochester. That's where we're closest to.
Very big.
They have a lot that have huge fan base. So it does stink. 2021 was the last year of their contract, so I don't even know if they're going to reevaluate that. But it is a bummer. But they have state-of-the-art facility there in Buffalo. But yeah.
Going back to that fight today. I don't know. No, this goes back to kind of like that iron sharpens iron. We have
Feliciano said that, by the way.
Okay, we have a top offense. So did Knox. This is where I'm going. So if you want your defense and your offense to be top 3 in the league, you have to have a fire. You have to have the competition throughout OTAs, throughout the mini camps, throughout everything. So the fights are going to happen. That's why we don't worry about it. We'd like to see fights because that means people just want to get going. When they interviewed Knox about, I think it was 2 days ago, he did an interview with everybody, all the news people around the area, about mentioning his eyes and stuff like that. He mentioned iron sharpens iron because somebody mentioned Ertz possibly, with trade, and he welcomed it. He wants him to come in. He goes, that's just going to make me better. it's going to make the other tight ends better. John Johns makes a good point. With all the talk about Ertz, I feel like it has Knox taking these steps to help his chances of being in the rotation. I think Bean has a plan, and I definitely trust the process. And that's what we've been saying from day one. Trust the process. They're bringing players in to compete. And when you compete, it just makes other people better. Our offense is going to be top-notch this year if everyone can stay healthy. Even if we have a couple injuries here and there, we're still going to be a great offense. Our defense is getting better. It's a good time. It's early, but it's a great time to be excited, Bills fans.
Well, for those of you who are excited about players that have a high ceiling or who we don't even know what their ceiling is, Knox is one of those players. He didn't get a lot of balls thrown to him in Ole Miss because of the talent they had DK Metcalf and Hollywood Brown and all that. So he didn't get a lot of tight end, a lot of balls thrown him, but he made the best out of those passes thrown to him. That's why the Bills went after him. But his ceiling is so high. He's strong. He's fast. He can block. He can run. If he could just hone in I don't even think he dropped that many bad passes. I think it's just one of those things that he got accused for early on in his career. And now if he even has one, we're going to knock him for it. But his ceiling, I believe, hasn't even come close to being reached. And I think Knox could be with all this talent coming in, with bringing in Emmanuel Sanders. Dable today, Jarrod, said Emmanuel Sanders is proficient outside, inside, and that he's going to throw him everything that he can handle with that playbook. So if he can catch on to it, I think Knox will be that difference maker that's going to make it so these wide receivers, these 4 wide receivers that the Buffalo Bills have, are going to be top in the league. Knox's ceiling, I don't think we even know what it is.
So you're comparing Knox to Keith McKellar in the 90s? The K-Gun worked because of Keith McKellar, right? He was the essential piece of that offense that opened up everybody else.
Yep.
Knox.
He could block and he can run routes. Right. He was fast. He can catch. So Knox could potentially be that to Josh Allen.
Nice.
I'm curious what you guys think about this. So we get a lot of these guys, like a lot of project guys, a lot of guys that have all the physical attributes and have the mentality to try to buy into the process and be a part of this team. Like Bean and McDermott, I'd say more than any other GM head coach combination I can think of, put a lot of stock in these developmental guys. Is there going to reach a point where you have such a solid foundation that you go into more safe draft picks and free agents to try and you know what I mean? Isn't this the opposite way that teams usually build their teams? Usually it's get something solid and then take the risk on some of these guys. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
It's the league's changed a lot in the last 10, 15 years. I mean, look at just the 90s. Players used to stay with a team throughout the majority of their career. Now it's trade, sign, money. So the way that Bean is approaching drafts and free agents and all that stuff, I think it's probably the new day and age of how you're supposed to do things, personally. And, we won't know until 15 years down the road when we have 5 Super Bowl rings, but you know what I mean? It's a new NFL. So,
well, so what would we be saying about Brandon Bean and Sean McDermott right now if we're going into year 4 now for Josh Allen, and if he hadn't if he hadn't done anything, if he was Tyrod, or if he was J.P. Lossman or Trent Edwards or any of these other guys, if he was just another spoke in the wheel, he wouldn't be a genius, But right now, he hit on that guy. He's hit on a couple other developmental guys. You got A.J. Epinesa that could come out and really just, I think that one pick could be the nail in the coffin of being all right, you're right. And now Rousseau's there. If he hits, the guy, what are you gonna do? How much higher can you go than GM?
Well, the beautiful thing about a Swank is it all trickles down. Before Bean became what he is now, he was one of the top scouters in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So he has taken his knowledge and being one of the top scouts, and he's got his own group of scouts, and they're all probably doing what under his direction of how he evaluated players is trickling down to how they're evaluating players. So as long as that part of it can keep trickling down and they can keep learning from one another and they stay in the program, then this draft, develop, resign thing is going to go on for a long time. I personally believe, because you hire people under you that are going to follow the core, the thing that you set as an example. And if that's how they're doing things, you're going to miss every once in a while. You are, but it's not. They haven't been missing like the Bills in the past. They're doing pretty wonderful. I mean, out of the 7 rounds last year, was there anyone that didn't make the roster other than Isaiah Hodgins getting hurt?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Nope.
I love it. Like, I miss those days in the 90s where, like, a guy signed with a team, he was a stud, he stayed there his whole career. The Kyle Williams, the Bruce Smiths, the Jim Kellys, all that stuff, man. Like, I love that. It was, for me, I'm like a very like loyal person, and I love tradition, and I've had the same birthday meal since I was like old enough to remember what it was. Like, I love that kind of stuff. And
What
I
is
think
it?
with the cat, what is it? Tacos. My mom makes me tacos.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, every year.
Tacos are great.
Dude, 37 years. Mom's homemade tacos. Ugh. Anyway, I just think with the cap opening up too, you might have a little bit of a throwback to like those days that like I long for, where like there's loyalty to a team, there's like loyalty to a fan base. Can you imagine the cap being opened up enough to where Josh Allen doesn't ever have to play anywhere else? Like, that's what I want,
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton of guys like that I want. I want Stephon Diggs to play out his career in Buffalo. Like, just after one season with those two. That's what I want.
Diggs is making his money in this current contract. He's making a lot of money. So Diggs would be one of those guys and a lot of that money's been guaranteed now in signing bonus. So he would be one of those guys that in a couple of years, when he turns 30, he may take a significant pay cut. He's making a lot of money now. And if he's committed to a program, then for sure, I could see him staying for cheap. Not cheap, but with the rumorville saying the cap's going to go up $28 million this year and then possibly another 20 the next, that's almost $50 million we're going to have towards extending Josh Allen in 2 years when we have to make that decision.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of money coming.
Yeah.
And we know Bean knows what to do with it.
Swank, going back to your question, would you rather be lucky or good, or both? Right? Is that what I mean? I got a feeling.
Answered.
Right. No, but truthfully,
Yeah.
lucky. You can start off lucky, then you get on a roll, right? And then all of a sudden you're making good choice after good choice after good choice. But after this draft, when they were sitting on Russo from day one, pretty much, it makes you think that it's more good than luck. And if you know what you're doing and you have a good team behind you, then more often than not, you're going to be put in good situations. So when they do your homework, you're getting players that you want or players that are like what you want. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is going to continue for a while in this new day and age in this NFL and how everything runs. I think Bean's got it down, and I'm glad they have the core coaches there. I don't know what Frazier and Dable are going to be here in 2022. We won't talk about that yet, but you know what I mean? Hopefully they're bringing in people even behind them that can just carry on,
Right.
or pass on the torch per se. And I say pass on the torch because we just had someone say if we saw that football that Jim Kelly and Josh Allen were holding that says passing the torch, damn, I wonder how much that would go for an auction.
Well, if we can get the 6.1 thousand fans of the Fandemonium, 24/7 Buff Fandemonium, to pitch in $2 or $3 a piece, we probably can buy it for $18,000.
Go ahead. There you go. I think Brent said that he just opened a beer too. So Brent, let us know what you're drinking.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, cheers.
All right. So obviously with that Rams game, we had to rely on the Buffalo Bills to come back and win that game. Which is he laughing at me or at comments?
Comments, Jason. Fucking love tacos.
Love tacos.
Love the tacos.
Yes, they are good. They are good. So the Bills ultimately pulled that one out, 35-32, with a comeback win against the Rams, and it was great to watch. had us in our seats. 28-3 was getting kind of, oh, we're up 25 points. And then, of course, Bills do like the Bills do. They made it interesting, and we win. We win.
Bills win. I've been hearing a lot on news media, sports channels, mafia sites all over the place, and a lot of people questioning if Josh Allen can put up the numbers or have an increase like he did the prior year to last year. Me and Swank did a little bit of math, and if Josh Allen made the same jump, you ready for these numbers, Jared?
Go.
If Josh Allen made the same jump he did from year 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 to 3 to 4, he would need 5,998 passing yards.
Easy.
Doable.
Yeah.
54 touchdown passes.
Okay.
He'll have to throw it at 80. He'll have to throw it at 80% completion percentage.
Of course.
He'll have to throw under 10 interceptions, get over 422 rushing yards, and score more than 8 rushing touchdowns.
Okay.
Okay.
I say okay because you added another game this year.
All right.
So that's
right.
that.
But I love these people. The reason I'm saying that is because all these people are questioning whether Josh Allen can make the next step. And we love our numbers, don't we? They're fun. But what really matters? The step of making the wild card game to the AFC Championship game. That's the only step we really care about, right?
Yeah.
So what's the next step? Super Bowl. So I don't really care if Josh Allen makes all the same moves. If we make the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter, does it?
I think we have a post for tomorrow, a conversation starter. If the Bills go 9, let's say 10-7, play the wild card, and they win the Super Bowl, did Josh Allen make the next step?
I have a different conversation starter.
Go
What
ahead.
7 games are they losing?
There you go.
Because that's
But do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I mean, what's
Twice
the
as much
next
as they
step?
last year.
We have a quarterback. The ultimate step is that Super Bowl.
Jim
So-
Kelly's always going to be knocked for not being one of the top quarterbacks because he never won a Super Bowl. I
Yes,
mean,
here.
when you look at Trent Dilfer and Jim Kelly, who do you think's a better quarterback?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, Trent Dilfer, he won a Super
He
Bowl,
won Super
right?
Bowl.
So that's one of those conversations. Dan Marino is one of those guys I always wish would have won a Super Bowl, but for a different team.
There you go. You wanted to mention something to close this night out a little bit about who you had a post earlier this week about Buffalo Bills fans. Who's your biggest? What's your question, Scott? Go ahead.
Basically, all these things saying, I saw a lot of posts being written about what made you a Bills fan, who's your favorite player. So I decided to make a little turn on that and kind of go after the Mafia and ask them which one player or group of players or what team do you despise the most? I use the word hate. I hate using the word hate, but
Hate.
I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. But apparently the's people out there that
I don't have any
why do you
problem
say
with it.
hate? We
I
don't hate anybody.
I hate stuff.
So real quick, since we got a couple minutes, you two, I'll ask you guys in just a second. What player do you despise? Who's your biggest foe? And Mafia, you can answer the question too. Out of all the years, who do you dislike the most? Who's someone that you really can't stand? I'm gonna start off. I'm not the obvious. I'm a Jarvis Lane. I can't stand the guy. One of my favorite.
Dude, you just took mine, dude.
Oh, geez, we should have discussed this before we started.
I should have talked about it. One of my favorite players coming out of the draft from the Texans Longhorns was Aaron Williams. And I have his jersey. I have a bunch of his cards, and he was one of my favorite players. And he did everything good for Buffalo. He was one of those governors. What do you call them there, Swank?
The mayor of Buffalo.
Mayor of Buffalo.
Mayor of Buffalo. I mean, the guy did everything right. He was great with his teammates, great with the community. And he was coming up in the ranks, and he was a hell of a player. And it took one cheap shot from Jarvis Landry, and it was a cheap shot, no matter how you call it. A lot of players, he's playing to the whistle now. He's cheap. He's cheap. So he's
You
one
can't
of those
blast
guys
somebody
that,
like that in the back. Like, if an offensive lineman did that, right? Like,
Cody Ford did it in the playoffs.
you ended a guy's career, man. Like,
Yeah, so if I'm going to pick one player, there's a lot of them, but Jarvis Landry for the intentional injury of someone and one of my favorite players, and that's definitely him.
all right,
Him and his yellow hair. Him and OJB can go ahead and
OBJ.
next.
OBG.
I,
No, growing up watching the Buffalo Bills in the
PBG.
90s, Dan Marino was always my foe. Marino and Kelly had these epic battles that you watch twice a year, sometimes 3. Kelly had his number, though, which is always great. But Dan Marino in the 90s was a player that I disliked. But, man, after he retired. He's one of those players that, as I got older, I got more respect for him. I wish he would have got a Super Bowl. He's a class act, good quarterback. He has the numbers to prove it. He's got to be top 5 in the whole league ever. But he never won that Super Bowl. So didn't like Dan Marino in the 90s. I respect him now. I wish he got a Super Bowl. But then another team I should say is that I don't like is the New York Jets. And I don't think it's basically majority of the team, but it's the fans. The fans, for some reason, get under my skin.
That's why I don't like Dave Matthews.
Dave Matthews fans. Oh, gosh. So that's Dan Marino, but I respect him now. I don't really have a player I dislike right now, but the Jets fans, pretty much.
Well, the funny thing about Marino is he went to a Super Bowl his rookie year, right?
Yep,
and never made it back. Yep. Swank, who's your guy, or did I take him?
I could go by the decade, man, and it's multiple.
Right. True.
Like, so in the 90s,
Ryan Cox.
Michael Irvin. I hated Michael Irvin.
Cocky.
Super cocky. Everybody, you could just say everybody on the Cowboys except for Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith, basically. But then I secretly hated Troy Aikman because they beat us twice. The Washington Redskins.
Oh yeah, Super Bowl.
The New York Giants. No, yeah, I was like, I was young, so we were young, but like, I hated all those teams for a very long time after that little stint, all the way up through to the 2000s. And then you could go 2000 to 2010. I'd say my most hated player was Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And then you could go 2011 to 2020, and I would say my most hated player was Tom Brady. No. Jarvis, man. Absolutely Jarvis. I hate that. I hate cheap shot shit, man. And Aaron Williams was such a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're saying, the mayor of Buffalo still comes back, has a ton of love for the city, like probably would be retiring now-ish, right?
Right, yeah.
But we wouldn't have Micah.
I know.
Or Jordan.
I know. And believe me, that's like the best revenge to me is that like you got a safety tandem that's still underrated. Like still under the radar and underrated, but like top 3 in the league 100%.
I think I just read that they're the longest tenured safety tandem in the league. I think they've been together 6 or 7 years. So
really, that long?
Yeah.
No.
Yep. They've been in Buffalo for 6 years.
Lies.
No, that's not right. Dude.
Pandemonium helped Jarrod out. We don't believe him.
McDermott brought in Poyer. I'm pretty sure.
Poyer.
Yeah.
Is this gonna be another check on my?
Fact check that son of a.
All right, ready? Here we go, guys. Here we go. Ready?
I have Kevin Falk from Mark. I'm interested to see why.
Yeah.
Mark, let us know why Kevin Falk. Vinny Testaverde from Lisa Johns.
Patriots. Kevin Falk.
All right.
Jamie says Levi Wallace.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
You can.
Well,
the conversation. The post I put out wasn't just for other NFL teams. If there's someone on the Bills, I had a lot of Marone posts.
Oh,
Doug Marone. And rightfully so.
Yeah.
Joey Hatch says I was 1 year off. It was 5 years. They've been together 5 years.
That's not right.
And they are the longest tenured.
And they got at least 2 more years guaranteed together.
Yep.
John Johns. Guess who his favorite? Without looking, his most hated player is.
Well, John Johns.
Was he Brian Cox?
Larry Zonka. He says I hate to show my age.
70s, yeah, they destroyed the Bills in the 70s.
Yeah, they had their number in the.
Yeah, they sure did.
Ooh, coach.
Right.
Oh, okay, hold on. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I want to keep this going. So, most hated. It's a really strong word, and I know that we all love every guy that puts on a Bills jersey. Who is your most disliked Buffalo Bill that's ever played for the team?
Oh. Scott, I'll let you lead the way.
It's kind of rude. And
I go on mute.
I'll say someone quick, but come back to me after I had a minute to think about it. But Doug Marone, he's one of those guys I really can't stand. To abandon a team, you could say Vontae Davis too for leaving at halftime. I mean, come on, but he really didn't make a. Vontae Davis was only there for that amount of time. He didn't play the whole year prior. But Doug Marone is one of the biggest douchebaggy moves I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, dude.
And
if I wasn't thinking coaches, but yeah, Doug Marone's probably right up there for me. I mean, Rex was just like a big bag of hot air.
Rex was Rex. You know what you were
Yeah.
getting with him, and unfortunately, we got the Rex that we knew we were getting.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Rob
So I would have to
Johnson by
say-
Josh Cook.
Yeah. Mike Williams, that's a good one.
Josh
Oh,
Cook, is
there
it
you
a
go.
Rob Johnson? Is it because you didn't like him, or because it's how the Bills treated Rob Johnson and Doug Flutie? I liked Rob Johnson. I just didn't like the way the whole situation was handled.
Rob Johnson wore that bandana. He was kind of very cocky, so I could see how Josh Cook would hate him.
I didn't like Rob Johnson, and it is because of what happened, and no other reason. But I think Wade Phillips gets off way too easy on that whole thing. I know that everybody said Ralph was the one that made him do it or whatever, but man, you're the head coach and you're Wade Phillips. I don't know how many people are telling you you got to start this guy over this guy. You know what I mean? Without him being well, I'm going my ass back down to Texas. He's not that kind of guy. So I think Wade Phillips pulled that move because he thought that was going to be the thing that was going to elevate Rob Johnson. And in the time that he was doing that, he also just shit all over Doug Flutie and ruined my dreams.
Chris Dutcher. Welcome to the show, Chris. I know you've been hanging around
Chris.
this whole show, man. Nate Peterson,
Yeah.
Mr. Picks. Brett said Lynch. We have a Willis
Lynch.
McGahee by Alberto. I
Jared,
have two.
I'm gonna tell a story real quick.
Let me just throw my two out there.
Let me get my
The tight end for the
Asked and
Jets,
answered.
Calvin
tight end for the
Benjamin,
Jet.
Tight end for the Jets.
or Giants, right? Is that where he's at? Where's Calvin Benjamin?
Calvin Benjamin. Yeah.
All right, so
good
I
one.
dislike
That's a
him
good
because
one.
he's kind of gave up. And then Kyle Orton, I liked him when he was playing, but then if you go back and watch his plays, he gave up. He gives up. He didn't. The Bills.
He didn't give up, dude. His arm just got old.
Yeah, he was too busy throwing groceries. But go ahead, Scott. What's your thought? But
So, remember the story back when we went to college that we heard about Antoine Smith?
yeah,
We had a buddy that knew someone that
Sean.
he drove limo. Sean didn't drive limo, his buddy did, and he was driving a limo for Antoine Smith, and the guy knew he was picking Antoine Smith, running back for Buffalo Bills, number 23. Came out of Houston. Anyways, the story is that he got out of the car, went behind the car properly, opened the door for Antoine Smith, closed the door, went and sat, and he's a Bills fan. So the first question he goes, "What's up, Antoine? How's life?" The only words he said to him was, "Better than yours."
That was my buddy from at C State, Sean. He told us that story. He said, "Better than
How's
yours."
life? Better than yours.
I don't know if I would hate somebody for that. That's pretty funny, dude.
Come on, man. Oh, man. Man,
Antoine Smith. He was a big guy, Antoine Smith.
Patrick
So,
Hughes says,
Sean.
EJ, can't stand Manuel. See, I'm
felt
one
bad
of those
for
guys
Manuel.
that feel bad for players coming in a shitty establishment. And the Bills were bad then, and I don't think they treated EJ properly. I really don't.
No, I agree, but I also think that they drafted him way too high, and that was, I mean, it was mostly the front office's fault that EJ failed, but EJ was I think he was destined to fail, destined to be a backup anyway. Is he even in the league?
Who did he play last for? The Raiders?
I think the Raiders and Peterman took his job. So they're just cycling old Bills quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Let's try him.
Comes David Webb's going to get signed by the Raiders.
Yeah, but
All right, how you guys doing?
I
Guys
haven't
good?
I haven't said mine yet, man.
I always do this to you,
You
Swank.
do this, man. You forget all about me, dude.
Go.
I'm not even gonna tell you now. I don't even want to tell you.
I
All right,
wanna
I'll
hear
tell
it,
you.
Swank.
All right, I'll tell you. Dante Winter.
Yeah, because he hated on.
Dude, I hate Bills players that leave and then they're like, Sammy Watkins. Like, I don't know. He didn't even flash beyond Buffalo, really, right? Like, he was the fourth option on a Super Bowl team. You know?
Mhm.
Like, great. I don't know. He's still not the caliber of player like all the wide receivers out of that class that we could have had. You know? I don't know. Stupid Sammy.
No, I'm the same way. Anybody that just gives up. I mean,
Darius.
yeah, you're playing a sport you love. You're getting paid millions of dollars, and because you go to a team that half these NFL teams are playing cold weather teams anyway. So because your home stadium is a cold stadium and you're gonna just give up, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
an
tell you what,
upbringing
man,
right there.
even
That's how
Lynch-
people are raised. I'm sorry.
Lynch at times, man, like the way he acted when he was here, and he was like half in trouble all the time. And then I remember that one preseason game before he went to Seattle, and it was just like they're just dumping the ball to him to like put stuff on tape so that somebody will give him something for him, you know. And I was like,
Brent Thomason said Sammy was the best IR player we had.
He was. He's always injured with that damn foot.
He was down at Corning getting new hips.
There you go. There you go.
So, Jarrod, real quick, I just want to let the Fandemonium know and Mafia know. Thursday, I'm going to put out a post. Have at it. It's going to be one of those questions. Who has the most to prove this upcoming year? Is it going to be Harrison Phillips or Eddie Oliver? It's time. It's time. So there'll be a post out there. Look for it.
I like it. I like that post. It's going to be a good one. All right, before we end the show for tonight, I just want to let everybody know our long snapper, Ferguson, he's the highest paid long snapper in the NFL. Congratulations on you. And Russo signed his 4-year deal. So we have our big rookie there getting the 4-year deal. So congratulations, gentlemen.
Are you
long
guys,
snapper's
are
a
you
big
guys
deal,
near
man.
wood? Can you knock on some wood? Because Reed Ferguson has never screwed up a snap in his whole career. in Buffalo.
Now we need to knock on
That's
wood.
what I'm saying. Are you near it, dude? I'm trying to get you prepared. Man, what
got
are you doing to me, Jarrod?
Look at that
dude?
big old mantle behind Jarrod.
Yeah,
He's looking
he's
for
like,
wood.
where's there any wood?
No, the thing is, I mean, he is one of the third, 33% of the highest scoring Buffalo Bill in one season. So Tyler Bass led the league and led the Buffalo Bills' highest season scoring, and he's the third of it. So you got to keep all those guys on board.
Oh yeah.
Perfect, guys. Fandemonium, thanks for participating tonight. We loved everything you threw at our way. One thing I wanted to mention to the Fandemonium, if you go to our 24/7 Buff Fandemonium Facebook page, there's a little spot on there where you can write a review. Don't be afraid to let us know what you think, what you want to change, what you like to see on our page. We are open to everything and anything. So go to our page, leave a review, and let us know what you guys think. You guys rock. Guys, we had a
Hey
good
guys,
show.
guess what?
man.
Next week we're gonna have a giveaway.
Damn
Yeah.
right we are. We're not going to let you know what we're giving away, though. We'll let you know when we put the show out for episode 15, but we will have a giveaway next week, so tune in. All you need to do is show up to the Facebook Live feed, say hi, go Bills, let us know what you're thinking, and you're on the Fandemonium Wheel of Destiny.
not to be a spoiler or anything, but like that's why we asked you guys who your most hated Buffalo Bills were, so that we could get cards that were signed by your most hated Buffalo Bills to give away.
There you go.
Jarvis Landry going. All right.
Season 2, episode 14 in the books. Again, Scott, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I mean, we love the participation. And you know what's awesome is that those of you who are with us every week, tell a friend, tell a family member. What you know how we are. You love us. We love you. We love the conversation. Get everybody involved. You know how we roll here at 24/7 Buff Fandemonium. And the giveaway, we do it for you guys because of the participation. We love the participation, so we like to give back. We're going to give away cards. We're going to give away shirts. We're going to give away, 8x10s, helmets, all that stuff. So it's all because of you. I mean, you're the main reason why we love doing this and having the conversation. So go Bills. The season hasn't even started yet, and we're having so much fun. So let's keep it going.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate. Swank, what you got, bud?
I don't know, man. Scott just made me get all misty-eyed.
Got the feels.
No, you guys are awesome, and we have a great time doing this. And thank you so much for all of your participation. And if you want a Dig shirt, a Notorious Double GS shirt, please get at us and get it because they are coming soon. And if you want to be part of the conversation, you can do so every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on Facebook Live for the Gun Report right here at 24/7 Buff Fandemonium. And, we're on YouTubes. We're on some podcasts there. We're over there on all this and that. Don't stay up too late. Don't drink too much. I saw a guy that said that I should not be drinking PBR. You're wrong. Red, white, and blue, buddy.
There you go. And it won a blue ribbon once.
Yep.
You got to throw that
once.
out there.
Go Bills.
Jarrod, I hate to do this to you, but see those helmets behind Jarrod? He custom makes those. Those are all custom. You can PM us if you're interested. He probably put something together for you. They cost about $1,200. So.
Yeah, no, they are rad, man. Do it.
Yeah, they are cool. They're legit too. He takes his time. He does a good job with them.
Now I look forward to, because I got a couple of helmets from the local high school that I'm going to be painting and putting together, and I got some other ideas, so I can't wait to get those back there for everyone to see.
You gonna do an EMD helmet for me?
I could.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
I could do a dual. Buffalo Bills on one, or 24/7 Buff Pandemonium on one, and then EMD on one side. So it's always a possibility. Pandemonium, thanks for participating tonight. We'll see you next week, Tuesday, 8 o'clock, same time for episode 15. Do us a favor, go back and watch that Las Vegas Raiders game, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about that and whatever current events happen between now and next week, and anything else you guys, the Pandemonium, wants to talk about. We'll see you next week, 8 o'clock Tuesday. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
This is a dangerous group